Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue. Okay, we were on the chapter number 2 of OC, that is Principles of Management. As you can see over here, I have written over here chapter number 2, Principles of Management. Okay, that day we saw the thoughts of management. Okay, we saw the first thought, that is thoughts of classical theory, and the second one, that is thought of neoclassical theory. Once again I repeat, what is thoughts of management? Thoughts of management is outcome of result, research and studies, RRS, that is result, research and studies. Okay, who give us this thoughts of management? Obviously the experts of the management, the scholars, the thinkers of the management, they are giving us a different thoughts of management. In total we have 4 thoughts of management: thoughts of classical theory, thoughts of neoclassical theory, thoughts of behavior related, thought of modern management. Okay, who were the main contributor of the thoughts of classical theory? Frederick Taylor, Henry Foyle, okay, Max Weber, they were all contributed the classical theory. Who was the main contributor or promoter of the neoclassical theory? Alton Mayo. Alton Mayo is called as the main contributor. Other were Maslow, Renaissance, MacGrosser, etc. were also the contributors of the neoclassical theory. Okay. Um, Now let us see the third one, where we had completed first two and third and fourth were left. So let us see the third one, that is thought of behavior related. Now name itself, thoughts of behavior related. It means here they are giving very much importance to the behavior. Which behavior? Obviously the human behavior. The human behavior is given the utmost importance in the thought of behavior related. Okay, as we know, what is management? Management is getting the work done from others. Management is an art to get done work through others. Okay, and how we can get the work done through others? When we behave properly with them, where we know how our behavior should be with others. That is why management is an art of getting things done through others. As well as according to the Professor Urvik, he says that uh, you manage your man. If you manage your man, then the man will manage rest of all the things for you. Okay, so first you need to know how you have to manage your man. Managing the man means keeping the man happy. Okay, he should be satisfied with the job. Okay, so that is managing the man. If you manage your man well, automatically that man will manage everything for you. This is the saying by Professor Urvik. Okay, now that is why in this thoughts of behavior related, they have given importance to human behavior and human relations. Okay, they have given importance to human behavior and human relations. If they are saying that if you have proper behavior and if you keep proper your relations with the employees will become very happy, the employees will be encouraged, the employees will be motivated, their efficiency of doing the work will increase, as well as they will become very much satisfied and they will be loyal towards the business unit. And this will definitely become really very easy for the business unit to achieve the predetermined objective, as well as the efficiency of the business unit as well as the profit of the business unit will increase. That is why they say that human relations and the human behavior is very much important concept or one of the important principles of management. So in the thoughts of behavior related, they have included the concept of human relations and human relations and human behavior. Okay, in short, they have to keep in mind the psychology of the employees and do the work accordingly. Okay, this concept also include the motivation that you have to give to the employees, leadership that you have to give to the employees, proper communication with the employees, and disposal of industrial disputes. There are some or the other fighting going on here and there. Okay, if there is fighting going on, if there are conflict among the owners and the workers, okay, then the business unit cannot succeed really very fast. So it is better that the industrial disputes are kept aside, or you should solve whatever industrial dispute it is, and there should be harmony in the business unit. That can be achieved because of the thoughts of behavior related. If you keep proper human relations. If you behave properly with the humans, okay, definitely the employees will get satisfied, they will be get motivated, they will get encouraged, and the efficiency of their work towards the business unit will increase, and the business unit will definitely succeed. So that is the thoughts of behavior related. Okay, next one, let us see thoughts of modern management. Thoughts of modern management. Okay, modern management, okay, in short, this modern management came up after their changes were seen in the business units after 1960. Okay, after 1960 there was tremendous change that we saw in the business units, in the enterprises, okay, in the industries. Okay, there were a lot of changes. Okay, so we needed a new thought. So at that time the thought of modern management came into existence. Okay, now which who were the thinkers who gave the thoughts of modern management? Okay, the Kunz O'Donnell, George R. Terry, Peter F. Drucker, C.K. Prahlad. These were the some of the management experts who contributed in the modern management. Once again, I repeat, there is Kunz O'Donnell, George R. Terry, there is Peter F. Drucker, C.K. Prahlad contributed in the modern management. Now, what is included in the modern management? Okay, now as the sizes, as the forms of business organization changed, okay, we needed new types of managers, we needed the new professionals. Okay, you will say what this means. It means, first of all, we used to do only BCom, and after BCom you can get job anywhere. It can be in HR, it can be in marketing, but now we had the size of the business unit was more, we needed experts in each and every field. Okay, if you want to go in HR, they will ask you whether you have the degree in HR. If you have the bachelor degree in HR, if you have done masters in HR, if you have done masters in finance, then you will get job in finance. Okay, so that is the concept of modern management. The new managers or the new experts were needed. Okay, that is why because of those particular reason, the different thoughts like psychology, statistics, mathematics, information technology were also included in the thoughts of modern management. Okay, so these are the four thoughts of classical theory, thoughts of neoclassical theory, thoughts of behavior related, and thought of modern management. Okay, so here we complete with the thoughts of management. The next topic for today is Frederick Taylor principle of scientific management. Okay, first of all, who was Frederick Taylor? Frederick Taylor was an American mechanical engineer. Okay, once again I repeat, he was a American mechanical engineer, and he was working as a trainee in a factory. Okay, he was working as a trainee in a factory, and after working as a trainee in a factory, after some years he became the manager in the steel company. Okay, that is Bethlehem Steel Company. He became the manager in the Bethlehem Steel Company, and as he was working, he came across certain situation and certain circumstances, and looking at that particular situation and circumstances, he for the first time gave the principle of scientific management, and he was the first one to give the principle of scientific management. So he is called the father of scientific management. So if anybody asks you who is the father of scientific management, then Frederick Taylor is the father of scientific management. Okay, once again I repeat, who is Frederick Taylor? He is an American mechanical engineer. He worked as a trainee in one of the business unit. After working over there for several years, he became the manager in the Bethlehem Steel Company, and while he was working in that particular company as a manager, he came across different difficulties and different situations, and looking at that particular situations and difficulties, he came up with the conclusions, and those conclusions he gave up as the principles of scientific management. He was the first one to give the principles of scientific management. That is why he is called the father of scientific management. Okay, now let us see. Yes, one more concept he has given over here, which is very clear. He says there are two important groups in the any business unit, and those important groups are owners and workers. Okay, owners are the top level management, and the workers comes in the middle or the bottom level management. Okay, now when we talk about the owners and workers, what is the main aim of the owner? To earn profit. Okay, to maximize the profit is the main aim of the owner, and workers to get more salary is the motive of the workers. Now there is always conflict between the owners and workers. Owners will say that the workers are not working properly, okay, and taking lot of salary, and the workers will feel that so much of profit is earned by the business unit, okay, by the owners, but they are paying us only little, very less. Okay, so this is always going on in their mind. Okay, and if there is a conflict between the owners and the workers, then the business objective cannot be achieved easily. The success of the business unit will not take place very easily. Okay, so Frederick Taylor had given certain principles of management by which, okay, there is less conflict between the owners and the workers. The very first is rule of thumb. What is rule of thumb? Okay, before in the past, okay, in the past, whatever workers were ordered, whatever instructions workers were given, they had to follow it compulsorily, whether it is right or whether it is wrong. Workers sometimes know that this particular whatever instruction is given to them, if they will work accordingly, there will be something wrong, okay, or there will be the company will go in loss. Okay, but they were not allowed to speak anything. Okay, that is called rule of thumb. Okay, so the Frederick Taylor was against this rule of thumb. He told that the workers should be allowed to give their opinion, to give their suggestions. Okay, he told that the traditional method of management should not be adopted. Instead of that, scientific method of management should be adopted. And according to the scientific method, the workers should allowed to give their opinion and should allowed to speak up. Okay, that is the very first thing. And if the workers are allowed to speak up, give up opinion and suggestions, and if the owners welcome their suggestions and opinions and advices, automatically the conflict between the owners and the workers will reduce. And if it will reduce, then the business unit is going to succeed definitely. Okay, so that is one more concept that is made clear by Frederick Taylor. Okay, now let us see the meaning of scientific management. Okay, scientific management, I have written over here just the mental revolution. Scientific management is a mental revolution on the part of the employees as well as on the part of the colleagues and workers. Okay, thinking, mental revolution, the thinking should be changed. If you don't change your thinking, nothing can be done. It is very important. Whenever you make any decision, whenever you make any objective, you have to change your decision according, and you have to change your decision, you have to change your thinking according to that particular direction. Okay, so scientific management means thinking, change in the thinking, mental revolution. Now whose thinking has to be changed? Owners as well as all the colleagues working over there as well as the workers. Okay, so scientific management is a mental revolution on the part of the employees working in the factory as well as mental revolution towards their tasks, duties, colleagues and workers. Okay, so that is the colleagues and owners. Okay, so mental revolution on the part of the employees as well as mental revolution on the part of the colleagues and owners. That is the meaning of the scientific management. Definition, very good definition. Okay, I have just written over here knowing exactly. Okay, that is not the definition. Just if you know knowing exactly, you can write the definition. Okay, what is the definition of the scientific management? Definition, Frederick Taylor says, knowing exactly what you want your men to do. First of all, you should know exactly what you want your men to do, and then to see whether they are doing it properly and at minimum cost. Okay, so that is a definition of scientific management. So what the Frederick Taylor says, knowing exactly what you want your men to do and then to see it that they do it in the best and the cheapest way. Okay, first of all, you should know that what work you want from your workers, what work you want to get from your men. So knowing exactly what you want your men to do, and then to see it whether they are doing it the best and the cheapest way. So that is the definition of the scientific management according to the Frederick Taylor. Okay, now Frederick Taylor has told that the employees should be treated properly. Okay, he says that he has brought certain changes, okay, in the principles of management, especially for the employees. Which are those changes that he has brought? There are three main changes that he have brought, and it is all related to the employees. Okay, the first one is, I am written over here, assigned work as per his mental and physical ability. Yes, okay, you should know the employee's mental as well as physical ability, and accordingly only give them the work. So assign the work as per his mental and physical ability. Second one, tell the employees that we want maximum utilization of all the resources. We want maximum work. We want his best work to be done. Okay, so that is maximum work we have to get from the employees. And the last one is efficient work. Okay, efficient work, or you can say efficient workers. Okay, suppose there are two workers, one worker is working more efficiently, then he should be paid more than the other worker. Okay, that is very important. Okay, there are 10 workers working, out of 10 workers 2 are very efficient, doing the work nicely, even their output is more, then give them more wages, give them more salary. Why not? You have to do it. Okay, so that is the efficient workers should be paid more. Okay, so these are the three changes that are brought by the Frederick Taylor under the principles of scientific management for the employees, to give them the work as per their mental and physical ability, get maximum or best work from them, and efficient workers should be paid more. Okay, so these are the new changes, three new changes brought by the Frederick Taylor for the employees. Okay, I have written over here, efficient work, more wages should be given. Okay, now you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. What are this? These are the principles of scientific management. 8 principles of scientific management given by Frederick Taylor. Okay, first one, scientific management. Okay, Frederick Taylor says that we should follow the scientific method instead of traditional method. Okay, or he says that we should follow the scientific management instead of traditional management. Now one of the example of scientific management is what I told you already, rule of thumb. Rule of thumb is the traditional management. In rule of thumb, the workers were not allowed to speak up, but the new scientific management says that it is the right of the workers to give their opinion and suggestions. Okay, so Frederick Taylor says that follow the principle of scientific management instead of following the principle of the traditional management. Second one, planning and implementation. When we talk about the workers at the bottom level management, okay, mostly the planning is done by the workers as well as implementation is also done by the workers. Once again I repeat, in the bottom level management, workers do the planning as well as they do the implementation. So what do Frederick Taylor say? Frederick Taylor says that planning should be done by the experts, and only implementation should be followed or done by the workers. Planning in each and every management, whether top, whether middle or whether bottom, should be done by the expert, and the workers will implement that particular planning. Third one, job analysis. Okay, job analysis is the best way to get the work done speedily and at low cost. Okay, job analysis is the best way to get the work done speedily at low cost. So what involves? Job analysis involves three things. Okay, time study, motion study and fatigue. Okay, now what is time study? Time study means they study that to complete this work in the business unit, okay, how much time will be needed. Okay, under normal circumstances. Why I'm using the word under normal circumstances? Sometime it may be that any natural calamity or man-made calamity comes up. Okay, as right now we are facing with COVID-19, right? So that is a calamity. Okay, and if we have decided that this work should be done in the month of May, but now we are not working at all. Okay, so time studies, okay, that this particular business unit work should be complete by 10 days or should be complete by 20 days. Okay, so that will come under job analysis. Motion study, the main aim of motion study is to use the maximum resources without any wastage. There should be no wastage. Okay, even by movement of men or even by movement of machinery, there should be no wastage of resources. That is motion study. And fatigue means, the meaning of fatigue means extreme tiredness, or you can say extreme exhaustion. Okay, sometimes you get very tired. No, always I am studying, I'm frustrated, I am exhausted. There is fatigue. So sometimes workers become very exhausted. So you study that they have become very exhausted, they are frustrated doing the same work. Okay, give them the break, give them certain incentives to motivate, give them the holiday package, what not. Okay, so by this way, by time study, the work will complete on time. By motion study, the maximum utilization of all the resources. And by fatigue study, the workers who are frustrated will get the off, will come back with a fresh mind and will get the work done very efficiently. Okay, so because of job analysis, and as it includes all these three, time study, motion study and fatigue study, with the help of the job analysis, the work will be completed speedily with lower cost. Okay, next one, standardization. Okay, what is standardization? Okay, one standard is set. Okay, and you should maintain that standard. You have suppose you have started with a business unit and you have started making the clothes. Okay, and you decide that yes, I am going to make the cotton clothes of this particular quality and it will never go down. So Frederick Taylor is telling all the business unit that whatever standards you have set should never go down. Whatever standard it is, raw material, I buy the raw material always of first quality, then buy it for the second time, third time, fourth time, always. Equipment I use this only because they are very good. Okay, tools, I bring this tools. Machinery, I bring the machinery of this particular company so that the product is really very good. So standard should be maintained. Okay, fifth one is scientific selection and training. Yes, whenever you do the selection of the employees, okay, there should be no partiality. It should not be that this particular person knows me so I am selecting. It should be scientifically done. Okay, scientifically done means you have to keep certain category into mind, that this much qualification is needed, this much skill is needed, as well as that particular employee should have that much of training. Only those particular employees should be selected. So that is scientific selection and training. Okay, they should be, selection of workers should be done scientifically. Okay, keeping in mind the education, the skills, physical strength, training, etc. Even if needed, scientific test, aptitude test should be taken so that you know which candidate is better than the other. As well as training should be provided to the employees. Okay, that is both the employees, new employees as well as the old employees, time to time, periodically, because as time goes, new management principles are going to come. They should know about it, right? So training should be organized even for the new employees, even for the old employees. Okay, sixth one, financial motivation. As I told you, we require the employees who are satisfied with the job. Okay, we need to motivate them, we need to inspire them. Okay, and if you want to make the employees really very happy, then we have to motivate them financially also. Okay, in short, you should try to give them proper wages. Financially, how? Most probably proper wages or proper incentives should be given to the employees. Okay, and especially those workers who are more efficient, having more ability, having more skills, should be provided more wages, or it can be according to the production also. If suppose like if you produce 1 tube light a day, you will get 100 rupees. So a person producing 50, okay, will get accordingly, and a person producing say 700 tube lights will get the money accordingly. Okay, so it can be according to the unit also. So that is financial motivation. Seventh one, economical. Economical means what? Now, when we use principles of management, we are not only just considering the scientific and technical know how, we are also considering that the work should be done at low cost. Okay, the maximum utilization of resources, okay, or I can say maximum use with minimum cost, or maximum benefit with minimum cost. That is the meaning of economical. Once again I repeat, the meaning of economical is what? Maximum benefit with minimum cost. How you can do that? You have to do cost estimation, you have to do cost control methods. Okay, you have to find out wherever mistakes are made and try to correct that particular deviations, so that the work of the business unit can complete economically. And last one, mental revolution, that we have already seen in the meaning. Mental revolution of whom? The thinking of whom has to be changed? The thinking of the owners as well as the thinking of the employees should be changed. They should think positively instead of thinking negatively. If they will start thinking positively, both the parties, owners as well as the employees, then definitely the stress of both the parties will reduce. Okay, and there will be no industrial dispute, there will be harmony in the business unit, and achievement of the goals will become easy. Okay, so this is the principles given by the Frederick Taylor. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, enough for today. Tomorrow we will see techniques of principles of scientific management, that I have already discussed. First and second one I have already discussed, though we will repeat it tomorrow. Okay, thank you.